Have you ever cried in front of a woman and watched her eyes change? Not with sympathy, with something else, something colder. And in that moment, you realized everything shifted. The way she looked at you, the way she talked to you. The respect? Gone. What just happened? I'll tell you what happened. You showed her you're human, and she punished you for it. This is not about all women. This is about attraction. And attraction doesn't care about fairness. Attraction has dark rules, rules nobody wants to admit. And the first rule is this: women say they want emotional men, but they're attracted to emotionally controlled men. There's a difference, a massive difference. Let me paint you a scene. Two guys, both dating. First guy, his girl cancels plans. He gets upset, calls her, voice shaking. "Why do you always do this? Don't you care about me?" She listens, she apologizes, but something inside her dies. Second guy, same situation. He pauses, then replies, "All right, no problem." Changes his plans, moves on. Guess which one she thinks about all night? The second, because his emotional control triggered something primal. The first guy showed he needed her. The second guy showed he had options. This is the brutal truth most men don't want to hear. Your emotions are a weapon against you in the dating game. Not because emotions are wrong, but because displaying emotional chaos makes you look weak. And weakness kills attraction faster than anything else. Now, here's where it gets controversial. Society tells men, be vulnerable, show your feelings, cry, it's healthy. And you know what? They're right. It is healthy. But healthy and attractive are not the same thing. You can be emotionally open with your therapist, with your close friends, with your family, but the moment you become emotionally uncontrolled in front of a woman you're attracted to, you hand her your power. And most women, even the good ones, will lose respect for you. Not consciously, not intentionally, but on a deep primal level. Because attraction is not logical. Attraction is biological. And biology doesn't care about modern values. Women say they want sensitivity. What they actually want is selective emotional strength. They want a man who can feel deeply, but who doesn't need to express it constantly. They want a man who could break, but chooses not to. That choice, that control, is what creates attraction. Now, let's go deeper. Why does emotional control matter so much? Because emotions signal survival value. A man who panics under pressure signals, "I can't protect you." A man who stays calm under pressure signals, "I can handle threats." And even though we live in modern society, her biology still scans for these signals. Does this man fall apart when stressed? Does this man lose composure when challenged? If the answer is yes, attraction drops. Not because she's cruel, but because her instincts tell her this man is a liability, not a leader. Here's another controversial truth. Women test your emotional control constantly. They don't do it consciously, it's subconscious. She cancels last minute. She mentions another guy. She creates distance. She picks a fight over something small. And in that moment, she's watching. Will he panic? Will he chase? Will he lose his composure? If yes, he fails. If he stays calm, unbothered, unshaken, he passes. And passing these tests is what separates attractive men from the rest. Now, here's where men get confused. They think emotional control means being emotionless, being cold, being robotic. That's not control, that's suppression. Real emotional control is this: you feel everything, but you choose what to express and when. You're angry? You feel it, you don't explode. You're hurt? You acknowledge it, you don't collapse. You're anxious? You notice it, you don't project it. Control doesn't mean numbness. Control means mastery. Let me show you how this plays out. Scenario: she says something disrespectful. Uncontrolled response: "How could you say that? You always do this." Controlled response: pause, look at her calmly. "I don't think that was appropriate." Then silence. The first response begs for respect. The second commands it. And women are attracted to men who command respect, not beg for it. Here's another scenario. She's distant. Replies are short. Uncontrolled response, "Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Please talk to me." Controlled response, "Notice it, don't react, live your life. Let her come back. And if she doesn't, you're fine either way, because your emotional stability doesn't depend on her attention." This is the core shift. Stop making women the center of your emotional world. When she becomes your primary source of happiness, you become emotionally dependent, and dependency is the death of attraction. But when you have multiple sources of fulfillment, your purpose, your friends, your growth, your hobbies, she becomes a part of your life, not your entire life. And that balance is magnetic. Now, let's talk about the biggest trap: emotional dumping. Most men don't have emotional outlets, so when they get a girlfriend, they dump everything on her. Every stress, every fear, every insecurity, and she becomes their therapist. At first, she listens, she supports, but over time, something shifts. She starts seeing you as weak, as a burden, as someone who can't handle life, and attraction dies. Not because she's heartless, but because she didn't sign up to be your mother. She signed up to be your partner. Here's the rule: share your struggles, but from a position of strength. Not, "I'm falling apart and I need you to fix me," but "I'm going through something difficult and I'm handling it. Just wanted you to know." The first is dependence. The second is vulnerability with strength. And vulnerability with strength is attractive. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What about when you're genuinely hurt? What if she betrays you? What if she crosses a line? What if the pain is real? Do you still stay controlled? Yes, not because the pain isn't valid, but because losing control gives her power. When you explode, cry, beg, plead, you show her that she controls your emotional state, and people don't respect what they control. They respect what they can't control. So even in deep pain, the move is this: feel it privately, process it internally, respond calmly. "What you did hurt me. I need time to think." Then distance. No drama, no begging, no emotional chaos. That control in pain is the ultimate demonstration of strength, and it either makes her realize what she lost or it helps you walk away with dignity. Either way, you win. Now, here's the dark psychology. Women are attracted to men they can't fully break. Not because they want to break you, but because unbreakable signals high value. If your emotions shatter every time she pulls away, she knows she has full control. And full control kills mystery, kills tension, kills attraction. But if she pulls away and you stay solid, her mind starts racing. Why isn't he chasing? Does he not care? Is he talking to someone else? And that uncertainty reignites attraction. This is why the neediest men lose women, and the most emotionally independent men keep them. Now, let's talk about anger. Anger is the most dangerous emotion in relationships. Uncontrolled anger makes you look unstable, but suppressed anger makes you look weak. So what's the answer? Controlled anger. If she crosses a boundary, you don't explode, you don't yell, you calmly state the boundary, and you calmly enforce consequences. If you do that again, I'm walking away. And if she does it again, you walk away. No threats, no second chances, just action. That level of emotional control is terrifying to women. Terrifying in an attractive way, because it shows them you value yourself more than you value keeping them. And a man who values himself is rare. Now, let's talk about jealousy. Jealousy is natural, but showing jealousy is suicide. When she mentions another guy, your instinct is to react. Uncontrolled, who is he? Why are you talking about him? Controlled, cool, then change the subject. The first shows you're threatened, the second shows you're unbothered, and unbothered is attractive. Because when you react with jealousy, you reveal your insecurity. When you don't react, you reveal your abundance. And even if you don't have abundance, the perception of it is enough, because attraction is perception. Now, the framework for emotional control. 1. Awareness.
1. Awareness. Notice your emotions before they control you. 2. Pause. Never react immediately. Take a breath. 3. Choose. Decide if this emotion deserves expression. 4. Express selectively. If you express, do it calmly and clearly. 5. Move on. Don't dwell, don't ruminate. This process turns you from reactive to responsive, and responsive men are attractive. Reactive men are exhausting. Here's the truth about emotional control in crisis. A couple is driving. They get a flat tire in the rain. Guy 1, are you kidding me? This is the worst. Why does this always happen to us? Guy 2, stays silent, gets out, changes the tire, gets back in, continues driving. Same situation, two completely different emotional responses. Guess which guy she feels safer with? The second, because he didn't add emotional weight to an already difficult situation. He just handled it. And handling things without emotional turbulence is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. Women don't want to manage your emotions and the problem. They want you to manage both. Here's another trap. Over-explaining. When you feel misunderstood, your instinct is to explain more, to make her understand, to clarify, to justify. But here's the problem. Over-explaining signals insecurity. It signals, I need you to approve of my decision. Controlled men don't over-explain. They state their position once, clearly, calmly, and then they move on. She asks, why didn't you invite me to that? Uncontrolled. Well, it was a last-minute thing, and I didn't think you'd be interested, and I didn't want to bother you. And controlled. It was a last-minute thing. Didn't think to. Short, clear, no justification. The first sounds guilty, the second sounds certain, and certainty is attractive. Here's a principle most men violate. Never apologize for things that aren't your fault. Women will sometimes blame you for their emotions. You made me feel, and your instinct, especially if you're empathetic, is to apologize. But here's the truth. You're not responsible for her emotions. She is. When you apologize for her feelings, you accept responsibility for something you can't control. Controlled response is, I hear that you're upset, but I didn't do anything wrong. This holds your boundary without being cruel, and boundaries are the foundation of respect. Now here's the paradox that changes everything. The less you need her validation, the more she validates you. The less you need her attention, the more she gives it. The less you need her approval, the more she approves. This is the core loop of attraction. Neediness repels, independence attracts, and independence is built on emotional self-sufficiency. When you can regulate your own emotions, when you can create your own happiness, when you can validate yourself, you stop needing her to do it for you. And the moment you stop needing, she starts wanting. Because people want what they can't control, and you can't control someone who doesn't need you. Now let's talk about rejection, because rejection is where most men break. She rejects you, she leaves you, she chooses someone else, and your instinct is to collapse, to beg, to plead, to show her how much pain you're in. But here's what actually happens. She loses even more respect, because your emotional collapse confirms her decision. The controlled response to rejection is accept it, respect it, walk away with dignity. No anger, no begging, no emotional manipulation. Just, I understand, take care. And then you disappear, not to manipulate her to come back, but to protect your dignity. And sometimes, often, that dignity makes her reconsider. Not always, but even if she doesn't, you protected the most important thing, your self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of everything. Here's the final truth. You cannot negotiate attraction with emotions. You can't cry your way back into her heart. You can't beg your way into her respect. You can't explain your way into her desire. Attraction is rebuilt through behavior, through distance, through growth, through control. When she sees you've changed, not in words, but in energy, that's when attraction returns, if it returns at all. Now, let me be clear. This is not about becoming emotionless. This is not about toxic masculinity. This is not about abusing women. This is about understanding the game as it actually exists, not as we wish it existed. You can be kind and controlled. You can be loving and strong. You can be vulnerable and selective. But you cannot be emotionally chaotic and attractive. That's the trade-off. And every man has to decide, do I want to be authentic in every moment, or do I want to be attractive? Because sometimes those two things conflict, and in those moments, you have to choose. Most men choose authenticity and lose attraction. Smart men choose controlled authenticity and keep both. So love her, but love yourself more. Care for her, but care for your dignity more. Want her, but don't need her. That balance is the key, and that balance makes you unforgettable, because most men can't do it. Most men lose themselves in love, and women watch them disappear. Don't be most men. Be the exception.